Hello everyone and welcome back to Slay a Tray Thursday. This week we're talking about Valentine's Day, but we're talking about Valentine's Day without the hearts. So how do you say Valentine's Day with no hearts? We've got, our reds and our whites, but our pinks. You guys know pink has my heart. But how do we do that? So I am not the biggest fan of Valentine's Day. Not really my thing. I'm a little jaded on the love front. So I was kind of like, okay, what are we going to do? Let's do something a little dark, a little witchy, a little Halloweeny, but Valentine's Day. So I pulled out this mold. This is the potion bottle mold from Molds and Shapes. They have such amazing molds, such good quality. Love them so much. And I thought we would make a tray with a love potion bottle. It could be love potion, it could be, anti-love potion, whatever makes you happy. But I thought we would make a potion bottle, stick it on a tray, and go from there. So I wanted it to be dark, but I didn't want to go black or brown or purple or anything like that. So I thought we'd go burgundy. So burgundy is comprised of like blues and reds and browns, but my mica powder sets just did not have the color I wanted. So I decided to make my own. If you ever run into a situation where you want a specific color, just make your own. Although this red it's not super red, it's almost like a reddish pink. I find so many mica powders that are red are just not a true red. I did hear that eye candy has a red, like really red, that I think I'm going to try, but we're just going to make do with what we have for now. So we're going to just mix up a little concoction until we get the color that we want. So the plan for this cup of resin right here was that I was going to split it into 3 colors. I was going to have some clear, some pink, and the burgundy. Somehow along the way, I forgot my own plan. And so this entire cup of resin, which was supposed to be 3 colors to do like 2 or 3 potion bottles, that's it, now became an entire cup of this burgundy color. So I had to come back. So I mixed that, and then I had to come back and mix up another cup of resin so that we would have the clear and the pink. So best laid plans don't always work out. So now I have lots and lots of extra potion bottles, which will be great come Halloween. Fast forward 10 minutes, 5 for the color, 5 for the clear, and here we are, ready to actually pour our potion bottles. So I'm going to take just a little bit of the resin and put it into a medicine cup. I'm going to mix in some gold mica powder. I've really been into this whole really light gold with pink recently. I don't know why. It's just kind of come about. It's my new favorite color combo. So I'm adding just a tiny bit. I don't want it to be opaque. I want it to be very light. It's just for some accent on the potion bottles. And of course, we can't make something without pink. That's completely unheard of. So into this one, I'm going to put some of the Arteza. This pink is gorgeous. It's so pretty. It's pink, but it has these gold undertones. And so when you move it around in the light, you can actually see the gold, the hints of gold in there. It's so pretty. And as I'm sitting here thinking, it's kind of rose goldy. Yeah, I could have just said it like that and just communicated that instead of using 25 or 30 words. I could have just used 1 or 2, but why make it simple? So I want to take the gold and just kind of put it in the tops of the bottles. I want it to be very minimal, but I want it to be impactful. So that way when we come behind with the burgundy, we're going to kind of do the burgundy around the outer edges and then the pink in the center. That gold is going to travel from the top all the way kind of down the center of the potion bottles, and you're going to just kind of see that hint of gold. So the burgundy around the outside and then the pink in the middle. And I am going to repeat the exact same process on all 8 of these bottles because we have so much resin. And then I'll let them cure for 24 hours. I'll come back and we'll take a look at what they look like. I have high hopes for these things. So 24 hours later, my resin's still a little bit bendy. It's pretty cold out in my space. It's about 40 degrees, so it's not super happy with me right now. This, however, is time to start our tray. So I grabbed my favorite Timu resin, as you guys know, and going to mix up about 14 ounces, and then we're going to divide that again into 3 separate colors. These snack cups are so good for resin. I cannot rave enough about them. They are the perfect size. They're wide. They're, I think, I don't know, 4-ish ounces, and they are perfect. I am just super excited. So we're going to do the same kind of idea. And this is where I wish I had changed it up. So I wanted to do the same kind of color scheme with like the main color being the burgundy color, then coming in with some of the pink highlights, and then having the gold kind of, I wanted to do some gold kind of in the center and then around the edge a little bit of the mold. The colors, while beautiful, they're very similar to that of the potion bottle, almost so that they all kind of just blend together, but lovely just the same. So this time I'm going to use, I have some of these gold, they're like ground up metal shards almost, which I've never used these before. I've had these for ages and I've never used them. I thought they might be better for the center and then the edges because I feel like they're heavy enough that where I put them, they're going to stay. So that way, if it's in the center, it will primarily stay in the center instead of kind of migrating all over the mold. So I put in a pretty small amount in that cup, thinking that would be really good for the center. I want it to be light. I want it to be just a hint. I don't want it to be overpowering. But then I did something that, in retrospect, I don't know what I was thinking. The edges, I also want to have that little hint of gold. But instead of just mixing up one batch of gold, I guess in my brain, I was thinking the outer rim would be darker and then the center would be lighter. So I added a lot more of the gold to this cup here, which is actually going to be for the outer part of the rim. I don't think that that was necessary. I actually think I went a little too heavy-handed on that. But I mean, all in all, it's fine. But I think I was probably just suffering from resin fumes or something. Does anyone else make game time decisions and then go, what was I thinking? Why did I do that? Yeah, I'm a real pro at that. So I was on the fence about pink. So I wanted to, of course, have pink because that's just who I am. And so I was kind of on the fence about which pink to use. So I had 2 different ones, and I decided to go with the same one that I used in the potion bottle. Once again, totally fine. Beautiful pink, absolutely stunning. But it does make it very, very similar. But if I'm real about it, you can't go wrong with pink. Like, you just can't. So I can't be mad about it. And one other thing I wanted to do was I just wanted to take some of the clear, put it into a cup, set it off to the side in case we needed more of one specific color, or, if we just wanted to add some of the clear in there. I just wanted to set it off to the side before I mixed up the burgundy part. Especially because I get mica powder happy and just start putting in mica powder in all of the resin, even though I don't need it. Now, I had a thought. And my thought was, I want this to be light, not color light, but like I don't just want it to be like dense. I don't want it to be super opaque. That was what I thought when I had this vision. I was thinking light and ethereal and just dark and witchy, but not dense. That was my thought. So I started adding a little bit of mica powder at a time just until I got to what I thought was the color that I wanted. And as I look at this, I realize this looks very purpley. It was much more burgundy in person, but the camera is definitely giving it purple vibes. Honestly, I could have just used purple and saved myself so much mixing of like concoctions. But check out this mold. Oh my gosh, this mold is so pretty. I love it so much. Even though it was an accidental purchase, I think it was fate. I think that's what we're just going to call it, was fate, because it is absolutely, it's beautiful in every way. I've had a struggle. I've wanted a mold like this for a long time, but I've struggled to find one that I really loved. But this one I'm definitely loving. So I took the gold that I mixed up for around the edges, and look how dark that is. That is so much darker than I thought it was going to be. And because those are the metal shards, or the ground up metal, it's all going to sink, and it's going to make that edge very, very gold. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just wasn't quite what I was going for. So, hindsight, I would have put in far, far less. So for the center, I do want to use the gold, that there's far less of the gold shards in there, or the gold, ground up gold, whatever it's called. I want to use that one. And then I'm going to come in behind it, and I'm going to kind of pour some of the pink just around the periphery. But I had some of that gold left over, and so I mixed it in with the pink because I don't want to waste it. So I could have put it in the edge, which is probably a better plan than mixing it in with that pink, because the pink already shifts gold. And now I just added gold to it, so it's going to make it even more gold. But the idea is I just want to take the pink, and I just kind of want to pour it in just a random pattern across the surface, and then come in behind it with some of the burgundy, which is much more purple, and then come back in again behind that with some of the pink. The idea that I wanted to achieve was that it would have depth. It wouldn't just be monochromatic. It wouldn't just be, this is all burgundy with a little flecks of gold or something like that, that you would be able to see all of the individual colors. That's kind of what I was going for. Step in, mistake number 4,286. I had some clear left over, and I had saved the clear in case I wanted to add it, but I feel like it muted the colors in the final tray. So in hindsight, I would not have added that clear to it. Even though it filled up the tray, I could have just either mixed in some more mica or something just so that it wasn't clear, just because it leaves some bare spots in the tray that I don't necessarily love. And in 24 hours, we'll come back and we'll unmold this. We'll unmold our potion bottles, and we'll see what it all looks like. My daughter snuck down to my studio in the middle of the night, and she unmolded all of my bottles. But check them out. I think they turned out really, really, honestly, kind of perfect. The gold did exactly what I wanted it to. Like, it started at the top and then it kind of flowed down the center. And so you have that gold, which to me kind of mimics movement of like a liquid in a bottle. And absolutely, completely love these. So much so that I'm having a hard time picking a favorite, which one I want to use in the tray. There's so many of them, and I think they all look so good. There's too many choices. This is why you don't mix up that much resin, because there's just too many choices. What I found was really interesting is that the side of the bottle that would normally be the front, I didn't love it as much because there wasn't as much flow of that gold. So I'm actually going to use the back side of these instead of the front, because I really like the way that this looks. And I thought about cutting something out on the Cricut, and then I was like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. That's a lot of weeding, and that's a really small bottle, and my weeding skills just aren't that good. So instead, I grabbed some sticker paper, and I asked AI to create a label, a love potion label that I printed out, and then I sealed it. I don't know if you actually have to seal sticker paper or not, but I was concerned that if I didn't seal it, that it might run in the resin. And part of me hates putting a sticker on here because I think this bottle looks so good. I just don't think you would know that it was a love potion without the sticker. So we're going to put it on there, even though I feel like it's too pretty to destroy with the sticker. And I think it's really cute. I think it turned out adorable, even though it does cover up some of my gold. I think it turned out really cute. So I definitely want to seal this in. I kind of was thinking, I had two thoughts. One was just put it on the tray and then pour the resin over the top of it. It'll drip down the sides. It'll run into the tray. It'll solidify it. It'll, make sure it's stuck in there forever. But I was worried if I did that there might be bare spots, because when you top coat something, sometimes you get those bare spots if it pulls away from the edge, things like that. So I was concerned that might not be the best path. So instead, I decided to cover it in UV resin and then put it in the tray. I thought that was going to be my best bet. I don't know if it would have been okay had we just put it in the tray. Maybe that is an experiment for another time. So I just gave this a really good coat of UV resin, made sure that the entire label was covered, the entire front surface was covered, and then I put it under my UV lamp for about 10 minutes because the jar or the potion bottle, you can't see through it. I just wanted to make sure that it was good and cured because I did put kind of a thick layer on the top. So I just wanted to make sure it was really good. So 10 minutes, I can't speak today, or so under the UV lamp. And then we're going to work on the tray. And can I just say how much I love the back of this tray? Isn't it sad when you love the back more than you do anything else? It's so pretty. I love that you can see all of the different colors there. You can see the gold, you can see the pink, even though it's more gold because I added a little bit extra, because isn't extra supposed to be better? I mean, maybe like extra fries or extra pizza, but maybe not extra gold mica powder. But I think the front is really pretty too. It's got more gold than I thought I wanted. Well, it has more gold than I wanted. But the reason why I think it has more gold is because I mixed that gold in with the pink. I think had I just left that out, I think I would have liked it more. I like it, don't get me wrong. I just wanted to see more of the pink than I did of the gold. And I did spend quite a bit of time cutting my face out of the reflection on the tray. So yeah, it's a little choppy there because I was cutting out haven't done my hair and it's sticking straight up like a crazy person. You're welcome, by the way. You're 100% welcome on that. So I mixed up, 3 ounces maybe, something like that, of resin. And I am literally just going to pour it into the tray. And that way the bottle is going to be there forever. It'll be raised up, which is actually what I wanted. I didn't want it to be flat in the tray. I did want it to be raised up off the tray. So I'm just going to pour the resin in around it. One of the things that I felt like I needed to solve for would be the bottle floating away. So I kind of wrestled with, do I want to glue it down? Do I want to epoxy it down? I couldn't really UV resin it down because it's not going to cure behind that since everything is opaque. So that really wasn't an option. I could have done like a 5-minute epoxy, but instead I thought I would just stick a bottle on it, a heavy bottle, and pour around it. And I apologize. This is not the best view, but it did work. I was so worried about it floating around in the tray and being all like half hanging off to the side somewhere. So this bottle was actually perfect. I just took a piece of silicone mat, laid it on top of the potion bottle just to make sure that it was freshly poured, that there was no drama with it, and it didn't leave any weird, like funky bottle marks on it. But it actually worked out really well just to make sure that it stayed exactly where it was supposed to. So I just poured the resin around the edges and let them find their own path and let this cure. We're going to let it cure for 24 hours. It seems to be the theme of the day. And we'll come back and we'll take a look at the finished product. So 24 hours later, this is what we're looking like. I like it. I wish there was less gold, but I like it. I think it turned out really, really pretty. I think the bottle is perfect. I love the tray. I would have gone a little different on the color scheme. They're very similar, and so they do kind of blend in. So I definitely would have given it a little bit more contrast. But overall, I really like it. I think it's adorable. I think it turned out kind of perfect for Valentine's Day. So thank you guys for hanging out today. Thank you for being a part of this Valentine/anti-Valentine's Day. Please check out the other creators in the description box below. There is a playlist. There are some amazing people who participate every single week. Please go check them out and support their channels. And hopefully we will see you in 2 weeks where we're going to do our own thing. And I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do. I'm sure that comes as a huge surprise. Thank you guys for being here, and I hope to see you next time.